Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everyone today? Saturday. Back on the bear build today. Hey Queasy Diver, hi Tech Geek. Ever getting a Nighthawk on the Legacy fixed? No, and I haven't been back to that. I feel like I need to try swapping out the Manta board. Hey Tuxedo, hey Marcus, hey Boydie, hi Bill. What else do we have here? Hi, the Ranch Kid. And Marcus. Ooh, it is warm in here. I'm feeling a little toasty, although it only says 77 outside and my AC has been going for a good while. Oh, cats are all over the place. Oh, and I didn't move this camera over here. Ooh. Hey, Joey. Hey, Wick Central. Let's do this. That's a far more interesting view. Anyway, I'm moving around and needing to cool down a little bit. So I'll wait a little bit to get to have some coffee. So, I don't really expect to finish this today. So hopefully maybe we'll do an earlier August Charlie's Angels stream to finish this off. I did find a couple of things. As I was looking at it and prepping for stream, I realized something, and we're gonna have to rebuild a small portion of it. And I'll show you how I figured that out. And it makes sense because it was a change in parts that I didn't really pay that much attention to as we were building it through the first time. Hey Rod, hi Steve, hey Redacted. I had the same issue and fixed it without replacing anything. I'll message you with what I did in Discord. What? Okay. Hey, looky there. We've got a Felix on the chair. He never goes on the chair. Are you jealous, Oscar? Is Felix in the wrong spot? Took a second. Who was talking in my house? I do that all the time. Hi, Bryce. I do that all the time. I'll be walking through and wondering, what is playing in the other garage usually? Oh, bye. Okay. Okay, let's get right to it. Apparently spending 20 minutes talking about things not the build last stream was not very popular, and I don't blame people. That's absolutely valid. So I'll try to spread out my off-topic talk a little more throughout the build than straight away. I knew it when I was doing it too. We just had three plus weeks to catch up on. So that was where we were at. Okay, so we're gonna get a view right here. And I don't know if you can tell, but I looked at this at the right angle and realized something's not right. Something is not right. And just seeing it right here, I know what the problem is, but can you tell what the problem is? I'm gonna listen and build a trident. Awesome. You're not the only one that's been listening and building a trident. Hey GTR Dad. Hi Oscar. Broken it is. You're missing a back plate. No, I'll give a couple more. Where's the rest of the bearing cap? That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Bearing is off center in the holder. I'm fixing to unbuild it. I know. Hey Orion. Hi Orange. Hi Amar. Hi. That's mouth and eye connection. Oscar knows. Okay, look at the gap between the belts here versus the gap between the belts here. Right in here. So you can really see that if we zoom in over here and move the tool head here. Look at the distance from the bottom belt to the bottom of the printed part. You can get a little better idea right there. Now, if I move this to the other side, look at that. Nothing's broke. Nothing's broke. Wrong parts is what the thing is. One screw head, wrong color. What are we talking about? Is there a wrong color screw head? No? There's no wrong. Oh, there is. Why was that the wrong color? Did I not have that one? Thought that was camera angle shenanigans. It is not. It is not. So we have the wrong idler. It's not the wrong pulley. We have the wrong idler. And that was, if you see there, the belt is going right through the middle of that channel on this end. This can be a problem. It might not actually be a problem. It probably is a problem though. If this top bit, the driven part of the belt, this is the part that drives the tool head, is perpendicular or parallel, I should say, parallel to the direction of travel, perfectly parallel, then it doesn't matter what this is doing, as long as it doesn't run into any clearance issues. But I know that this is too large along its center point, which means this top belt has to be a little too high, which is going to give us an error in the way that it positions. So, passing, oh, I know. He probably is. So what we need to do, and I started to correct this last night, and I thought, no, I want to show this. The original build that I unbuilt did have 16 tooth equivalent idlers. Put this back on, Mr. right there. And Felix is playing with the bags or cardboard scraps in the corner. So we will take the gantry off. We need to do that. Do we need to do that? We may not need to do that. We don't need to do that. Okay, we will take the idler off and swap it out. We don't need to do that because the Bear setup just has 2 screws here and that whole thing comes out. So let's go ahead and do that. Just experienced first ever tangle with Polymaker. Oh. This out. So this is the little idler piece, and this should be a pretty quick fix. For some reason, I had it in my mind I was going to have to swap the whole gantry off last night, but I know why I thought that. Because the other problem that I discovered off stream is that the bearings that are that were on this printer are not good. I grabbed the bed and I was able to shift it, rotate it around this way by a little bit, and you could hear it, the play in the bearings. Here, it's not moving anymore. I did swap those out last night, confirm the problem. The tool head is the same way. I don't know if you can, let's see if you can see that. See that? And that is not because I don't have the bottom. I've held everything in place. It's not because the bottom spot isn't in. That should not be able to rotate around up here across these two bearings. You see that? I can feel it too. You can't hear it, but I can feel it. So. Fortunately, I have a pretty large selection of bearings in my collection of parts. All of these bearings across the top here are actually all, these might be sourced from Misumi. They are a quality bearing. I don't remember, there we go. Air Vietnam, LM8. I don't remember what that logo was. If these were TDK and they might be TDK from Misumi, but I have gone through all of these and they do ride smooth. I did that last night. I was cleaning them up. They need a little bit of fresh grease in them, but otherwise when I ran them, any of the grease that was being pushed out of the bearing was not colored. So it didn't have signs of rust or other metal debris, wear indicators. So those will be fine to use. The bearings I used on the bed were 3, I believe they were off of original Prusa builds, probably Mark IV upgrade stuff, maybe from the Core 1 upgrade, the bearings that weren't used. But this is nice and solid. This would shift and you could hear it shifting just like this. You can't hear that, but I can hear that. I can hear the wiggle in that. So what we are going to do is we're going to pull this out. We'll swap this. Swap this out for one of the wigglers. Oop. So I had tried to use the Prusa one. Lost track of which direction I wanted this to be, so let's just make sure it goes in smooth. It does. Let's see if it goes in. Not quite. Either way is smooth. That way is a little smoother, so we'll put it in that way. Oh, I think one of these actually started to thread in. There we go. Ah, hey Thomas. So here. Hey John. There we go. This. Yep, that's the way. See you next weekend, John. Am I going to see anybody else at Open Sauce? Of course, I'll see Bill. Bill's going to get to ride in the new Maverick. Okay, that is good for now. So, if we go and take the same shot here. Let's see if we can. Thanks, buddy. You are doing that on purpose. That is 100% on purpose. Look at how that is now. Look at where the belt is in the channel. See where the belt is in the channel? All the way across. If I have a sponsor, I might go. Really? Nice. I did notice that the bottom does seem slightly down on this side, but this is the parts as they are. I am, without going through and measuring, I'm gonna guess that this, the important part of the belt, is parallel with the rod there. So this is as intended, and I think we could probably figure that out or confirm that. If we go to the bare extruder and x-axis is where the important part is, I think. And the bill of materials should probably say the idler that's needed. I haven't checked this, but I'm guessing it's got to. Huh. Optional part for E3D idler. Check this. It says a 20-tooth idler. It says a 20-tooth idler. What? I remember checking this when we built this, right? I remember checking this. There's a 16-tooth pulley. What is this optional part for E3D idler? X and idler tensioner for E3D toothed idler. Oh, that's, so when you, knowing, I believe, hey Sanity, hey Jeff, knowing or being around 3D printing for a long time, when they say E3D toothed idler, I'm fairly certain they're referring to the Gates idlers, which are wider than your generic toothed and smooth idlers. Probably have an example here. There we go. So this is your generic 20-tooth idler. This is your Gates 20-tooth idler. It is wider. You do need to accommodate that in design. It's definitely different overall outer diameter as well. However, for this particular thing, I'm a little puzzled as to the instructions here because they don't match what I'm seeing on the printer. And not being as familiar with the Bear ecosystem, I don't know if this is a known issue or if I'm missing something else. I am going to leave it as it is because it's makes sense. It makes sense. It looks correct. And if this looks correct and the other way is very visually incorrect, let's see, should be able to get some sort of idea. Put this up. We are at a little over 11 millimeters to the top. If I do it over here, we are at a little over 11 millimeters to the top. So I don't understand. The only other thing we can check before we just move on, because I'm certain the way it is right now is more correct for the information I have. So let's see if the BearExxa V2 has any alternate instructions, because this is a different tool head and carriage. Hey Scott. Check the pulley. I think you mentioned the 16-tooth one. Well, I don't know if you've been here since the beginning, Maurice, but we swapped out the 20-tooth pulley for a 16-tooth. Hey, Andres. Late. It's 19 minutes in. Let's see if there's it's got materials here and here. So is there anything? Nope, it says 20-tooth idler. I don't get it. If anybody knows, let me know. Otherwise, we're moving on. No, that's not anything for you up here. There's all kinds of fun things to play with, but you don't need, come on, come down. Here, play with these. There you go. Hey, don't knock it. You swapped the idler, not the pulley, right? I swapped the idler, correct. I swapped the idler. So everything lines up with 16-tooth pulley and a 16-tooth equivalent smooth idler. That there's for him, you'll soon, I know. I probably need to clean that out at some point. Okay, I don't want to dwell on that, otherwise we'll never get this done. So we go back. And I think we're gonna go, yeah, I think we want to be here actually, because we're still building up the tool head. However, I believe the same issue is gonna be on the Y. Oh, that was dim, not bright. Oh well, I didn't see any bearings go flying, we're fine. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, it's the same thing. Let me see, I don't know. Is there a bear conversion for the Mark IV with an extruder? Yes, I believe so. I don't know if there's anything like quote unquote official. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good view, but I think I can get a view. What did you do with the frame after the conversion from Mark 4S to Core 1? It's over here. I have it. Now I know the Prusa wire exists. That's not on my radar to build. That is not saying that it's not a cool, fun thing. However, when you convert a Prusa to a Core 1, you are using almost all of it. It is quite a task to procure the parts you need for a Prusa wire. Yeah, Connor Fab. If Gregor is filling up to it, he might join in a bit. And ask him possibly. Cool. Okay, let me do some quick measurements. I think I'm gonna end up in the way, so maybe it's a matter of doing it this way. So we are right at 17 millimeters there, and I'm just measuring to the bottom of the bed. And we are at 17 millimeters there. So this is fine with the 20-tooth pulley in the front. This is fine. If I change that, it's not going to be fine. So measuring down, we're at 17 millimeters to the bottom of the bed, to the top of the belt. We are right at 17 millimeters both sides. If I change that out, then it's going to change the angle of the belt. So I'm not going to change that one out. So even though this is doing this, so the bottom belt is going off, let's exaggerate it, it's going off this way. The top belt is parallel, and that's the driven side, which is all that matters. This one can go all over the place on the return side. Can go all over the place as long as it makes a smooth connect or path to allow motion, then it's fine. But that's interesting. It's interesting that that's correct and the other one does not appear to be. Check my numbers here. How can I best? Because I'm eyeballing this. The Y belt was a lot easier to get a very clear indicator of where it is. Self a visual backer instead of the less noisy background. Yeah, it's like 11.5 millimeters, maybe. The same. So I gotta figure that it's correct as it is right now with the 16-tooth pulley. Okay, stream's over. John, stream's over. I don't think I can top that. I don't think I can top that. Good job, John. Crimped a motor wire with Microfit 3 instead of JST. Oops. Do the same thing with backer to read small markings. Yeah. I've got a slightly tweaked contact prescription I'm using right now. So far so good. Okay, back to you guys. What are you doing over there? Did you find a spider? Oh, you did. You found a spider. Sitting there in the corner, staring at one spot. You found a daddy long leg. Okay, let's get to the build. Oh, before, sorry, a little scattered. Pulled these guys off, so let's put them back on. As long as you don't get tweaked from all the coffee, it will be fine. I have 1 cup, usually before stream. I have my 1 cup during stream. That is good. Oh, as far as the bearings, so these bearings were terrible. These, I didn't detect any issues trying to shift these around. So I'm gonna leave those. But the X ones, oh shoot, that's what we needed to do. Sorry. That's why I needed to pull this whole thing apart. Not for the idler, but to be able to swap out, we need to remove this rod, or these rods, at least one end, so I can swap out the bearings. That's where we were. So let's pull this. It needs to come off anyway. I had my 1 pot of coffee. That's what I was missing. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so those out. Can I do this leaving it mostly on the printer? I hope so. Let's just set this in here for now. I got new parts for the Micron. Jason sent over the extended shaft steppers that are going to be included in the Micron kit, and let's pull the wire. There we go. And the live idlers that for the XY joint. So basically it's a 16 tooth pulley pressed onto, without bearings, pressed onto a 3mm dowel. And that'll be for the XY joints. Here, and that can go drop. This over here. It's back here. Here we are. So now we should just need to pull the backing plate here. Hey Keith, just catching up, but did you confirm that the extruder X carriage X are correct? What do you mean? What do you mean? Hey Killer Prince. I am using the BearExxa V2 files. There's zero chance that I printed the wrong stuff because I don't have the old stuff on the printer. We're gonna just kind of leave this stuff kind of semi-connected. This should come off the end here and we can sneak those bearings off. Everything I can tell from measurements are that a 16 tooth pulley needs to be here. But I'm open for somewhere I might have missed it. You can feel the only thing I check is a pulley on the X motor, but you said you did that. Yeah, and I can see it. I can grab a 20 tooth pulley and just for a visual confirmation. Yeah, it's definitely a 16. Definitely a 16 on the stepper there. Okay, so these all come off. And these are just gonna go, where's my trash? These are gonna go in the trash because I don't want them in my collection of parts. They're just gonna get thrown away. Did you want to build an LH Stinger? Killer Prince has. Okay, so I have the bunch of these. I think these are sourced from Misumi. The Vietnam-made LMU8s. I have checked all of these and they do run smooth. They're nice. No debris, no discoloration. I do want to mark them so we can check orientation as we install them. So all I'm doing here is marking in line with the bearing paths in there. Just makes it easy to see from the end which way it's oriented in there. Make sure I don't have to grease on the end before I muck her on. One, two, and one more. Seems interesting. I don't think I want one, but I appreciate engineering that pushes things. Yeah, for a bed flinger, it is nuts. It's nuts for any printer, but especially for a What's up, buddy? You wondering where treats are? Where's Felix? Poor Felix. This is definitely turned into Oscar's space. Felix is not as excited to come out here as Oscar is. Same with the Stone Wolf. Yeah, I'm still excited about the Stone Wolf. Hopefully all that happens. The expectation is that it will, but we'll see. No, Oscar was the one after the spider. Felix is over there. Hi, Felix. Talking of extremes is now getting some very clean 3-minute benchies. Wow. Okay, let's give them some treats real quick. I think we will be much happier cats if we give them treats. Let's do early treats. And treats? Of course you do. I don't have any more catnip. Here, buddy. Felix isn't as excited about treats. But Oscar will take them right from my hand. You don't want it from my hand. That's okay. One more. That's it. Make my fingers. Ow! Oscar bit me. Okay. Yeah, Felix is a shiny cat. That's for sure. All done. Now you can take a nap. You want to take a nap? Okay. Next one to use take a rugged box all day. Fun. Okay, I got all these done. I want to go to the assembly guide and here find the recommended, is there a recommended bearing orientation? This is a simplified assembly guide, so it's not here. But it is going to be it is going to be over here, I think. Let's go here. I want to dive into some of the more interesting hardware issues. That's because I've been in software for so long. There's so many of the issues are a definite mix, software and hardware. Is this what I want? Let's just go through this. Assembly and here. Yeah, this is going to show. So that's the Z, and let's go and see how Greg wants the X carriage. Does it go here, or does it in the next one? Extruder. Okay, extruder and X assembly. Well, they don't actually show it. I'm surprised. Huh. Okay, we can make a guess. We can make a guess. Greg, welcome. We have questions. I have questions. I have questions about the idler. So the idler on the end here, the bomb shows a 20-tooth idler. But when I put a 20-tooth idler in there, the belt's, the top belt, the driven part of the belt, is not parallel with the x-axis. A 16-tooth is. Just curious if that is a known thing. I can go back on there. This, shift these around. I'm gonna put these to where it's an X, and this bottom one where it's a T. And the idea is that the bearings on the bottom being in line with the motion of the tool head, hopefully will constrain it better. I don't know. Oh, that is good. This is definitely weird. Have you count the teeth? Yes. Let's just say yes. There is no doubt that the pulley side is a 16 tooth. I can show that here in a minute. Okay, so that can all sit like that for now. So I'll put this up in here. Good. I'll give a demonstration here in a minute on the printer. This Spectra. That about there. So swapped out. I'm swapping out the bearings here, Greg, because I discovered that the bearings that I had for this build are not good. We're not good. Had a lot of play in them. I measured the rods with a micrometer and they match a regular spec 8mm rod. They're not loose rods, it was the bearings. So from the previous angle, the X belt path isn't parallel. Did you go back in the stream? I am very open to being missing something, but there we go. So that's all there. So now, if we this camera over, we are out now. What have you done for the rebuild? This is the way the bear was handed over to me from Chris Russel. It had a Big Tree Tech SKR Pico controller in it and clipper. So I am swapping it to basically a Mark 3.5 electronics. This is definitely intentional. Every time I've set this up, he's walked in front of it. Oh, you can't go by that there, Keith. The bottom bearing isn't set in place. The whole tool head is angled in that screenshot. The whole tool head is angled. This is what I'm showing you right now is because the tool head is in place. This bottom bearing is seated. That screenshot doesn't work. So anyway, it is going to the latest BearExxa 2 tool head with a Revo Micro hot end, and then just a refresh. We spent almost the entire first stream squaring up the bed and finding out the little nicks that were causing it to not be squared. Hey Ella, I owe you DMs. Those came in when I was at work and I had a busy day at work on Friday. I started to respond and then I got distracted. So I will respond to you. Okay, here, let's go here. And let's go here. And maybe, I don't know if this is gonna help because it is black. But, oh, yeah, that'll probably help. There we go. There's no way that's not intentional. What bed probe? Just the Pinda, the Super Pinda. I just mounted the door pulley, not a key back to Prusa wire. Nice. Door puller. Oscar, this is not okay. Anyway, if I come in here and I know I have to eyeball this, but straight ahead, that is right over 11 millimeters, right 11.5 millimeters. And we can move this around. That's where it is. But if I do the same thing over here, we are right at, no, we're at 10 millimeters. What the? You watched me do that last time. You watched me do that. I did the same thing. So that's not a known thing. Have you start from the GitHub of the V2? Could you count the teeth of the idler? This is, it's a smooth idler. It's the one that came with it is what I'm trying right here. So I don't know. I've gone through and checked this. You watched me measure it. I don't know what has changed, but I would say that it's not parallel now. And you know, from the very beginning, I said I might be missing something. So let's swap this idler out. Let's swap this idler back out. I will put a 20 tooth idler on there. This has been out long enough. There is no way I was going to say that it was wrong. There is no way I was just going to flat out say it was wrong. If it was wrong, it would have come up. So now I'm trying to figure out what is being missed. Let me find here we go. There's a 20 tooth non-gate style. And then yeah, I'm not gonna grab the, I'm not gonna move the camera yet. What is the issue? Trying to figure out belt pathing. Let's see how this looks. So this is a 20 tooth non-gate style idler. And let's go through and measure that one. Is the idler holder with a 5 millimeter hold? No, it's got the 3 millimeter. This is this. Make sure that there isn't something. So that's 4. That's 4. And that's 4.2. It's all print stuff, print settings. That's okay. I'm not going to be seeing that. That's not going to be the root cause of what I'm seeing. That socket head's still the wrong color. I gotta remember why that's that color. Make sure we get some tension on this. Make sure everything's seated. How you doing, Greg? Okay. So what I was seeing at first that got me down the path is there is definitely, and there should be, or in this configuration, a angle to the bottom part of the belt. This bottom part doesn't matter, it's not the driven side. So an angle there is fine, as long as it doesn't interfere as you get to each side. So see, it gets close to the printed part there, but doesn't touch, and then it goes up. What we care about is that this is parallel. And when I measured this in whatever thing before, it didn't seem to be, but let's do it again. Do you have a smooth idler from Prusa? Yes, and that's what I had on here at first. This is what I had on there at first. I'm trying, because I think the BOM says a toothed idler, right? The BOM says it just says a 20-tooth idler. A 20-tooth idler. Should it be toothed? Should it be smooth? I don't know at this point. We are right at 11 millimeters there. I would say it's actually still off. It is. No, it's right at 11 millimeters. So it's okay right here. I'm still unconvinced by smooth versus toothed idlers. What is the recommendation on this build? Smooth or toothed? It does say 20 tooth, but that could still mean smooth, because you got to identify it somehow. Anyway, there's the driven pulley, and if we grab a known 20 tooth, you can see that it's a 16. So that's a 20 tooth, so this is a 16 tooth. So I am okay with this now. For some reason, like I said, I measured, it seemed to be wrong with the 20 tooth. It's not. We're gonna start a drinking game here. Every time Oscar walks in front of the camera. Where are we? We can move on. We can move on. Why a 16 tooth on the motor but a 20 tooth on the other end? Because I mean, is 16 tooth the default? Is that what comes with the Prusas? Are they 16 on the Mark III? That is probably the root reason, but if you went to a 20 tooth here, it has to line up. The top of the belt, where the belt ends up on the top of the pulley, has to be perfectly in line with where it enters the X carriage. Yeah, they are 16, so that's I'm sure why. So if you change this to a 20 tooth, you're gonna end up with and this is an extreme example, but your belt's gonna be doing like this, going down to the carriage. And then you're gonna introduce an angle error there. Oh, that's so much better with the different bearings. Looks better with the smooth, so the V2 recommends toothed idler, and I want to make kit with the idler. Prusa has 20 tooth smooth on the idler. So if you want to reuse Prusa parts, then this is the 20 tooth smooth. The only concern I have, if you run into any issues, there's no mechanism for keeping this from rubbing on the side of the printed part. There's nothing stopping that from rubbing on the printed part because there's no yeah. So I mean, same with the toothed idler here, but the Prusa are nice because the reason they do this, the reason these are made this way versus, let's grab an equivalent. Here's an equivalent. Look at the size of the bearing in the middle there. The bearing on the Prusa is much larger, which means a larger bearing is going to have a longer service life. This is 2 small bearings. I believe this is 1 larger bearing in the middle there. That's why you've got a larger bore here and a step here that it presses against. So lots of miscellaneous pulleys around. I'm pretty sure what I put in there is a Gates, but I'm not 100% positive. So it should be a good. The Prusa is 12mm diameter and the tooth should be 12.2. We do recommend the toothed idler with 5mm bore and larger bearing. The toothed idlers with the, so let's say here, this is still a much smaller bearing than this. This is still, the balls in there are much smaller. So this 3mm bearing, bore bearing, is going to be more durable over time than the 5mm one here. The E3D are the right one. So when you say E3D, you're really talking about the Gates, because this is the Gates style. That's where E3D sources them. This is equivalent to, this is the same thing that you would get from E3D. This is a Gates pulley. Prusa idlers only have 1 bearing, which wears out more easily under uneven belt movement. You shouldn't have uneven belt movement in a aligned setup. I would not deny that that's true, but I'd be curious to see if there's any good way to actually test that. Let me see. We do recommend the tooth idler with 5mm bore. I don't have a 5, I could make a 5mm pin. I could make one easy enough. I think it's going to be a little hard to debug this live. May I ask you to continue with the smooth, and I'll write you in private on to fix this. Yeah, absolutely. Currently, I have a toothed, I do have a toothed 20 tooth in there right now. That's what's in there right now, is a toothed 20 tooth. So we're gonna move on, but this has been a good chat. I like it. I was wrong on that being an issue in the pulley size. I don't know. I'm really curious why that came up as far as when I was measuring before to see if I needed to check that. It did look wrong, but something must not have been shifted into place. We did measure, I don't know if you were here, Greg and Keith, we did measure the Y and everything lines up just fine. Blue is the same color that my bear is, except I printed the parts in Prusa in orange PETG. This is all nobufil. It is a European ABSx Astro Blue, I think it is, or what most of the parts are in. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, for sure send me a message, Greg, if you want to. Like I said, this has been around long enough that it would have been surprising to actually find a problem that hasn't already been reported. But no, I don't think it's I think it's me trying to overthink things as well. I don't assume that everything is correct going into these builds, so I'm always keeping an eye out for things, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out what is what. Okay, we have all of this in, and the fan is on. The idler is on and in. If you end up going to Form Next this year, I'll have to get you some Add North filament for you. Nice. I am hoping to. I need to actually book my flight. I have not done that yet. I'm hoping to. We got all this in. Everything here is done. So now we need to start working on, I think we need to start working on getting the wiring going. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be lots of work. What do we have here? Oh, I wanted to, I don't know how much tickets are. It's not very clear on the website. I don't know either. I'm hoping to get a creator ticket. I haven't tried to apply though. Okay. We have stepper motor, fan, extruder, and super pinda. We need to figure out how we are going to bundle all of these. I think we want to do, and get them off to the control board. So we're going to do stuff like that. And all of this comes through. But where are we? We have several connectors here, and the default Prusa install for a Mark III or 4 doesn't have a bunch of connectors here, while the Mark IV has the tool board. Hey, Scott. Can you send me a link to apply when you get the chance? Yes, I mean, I'd have to find it too. I've not even looked. So if I get it, I will see if you've received it by then. Likewise, if you find it, send it over to me. How do I want to do this? Where do I want to make these connections is the question. I know it's not as elegant, but I wonder if a connection up here is actually going to be more useful than trying to do it back here. Because one of the concerns I have with doing it back here is ending up with a mass of wires and then impacting, let's see, and then impacting the ability to home. Let's get all this stuff out of the way and see where we end up. So that hits there, right there. If we do have connectors there, as long as it doesn't hit the frame here, we're okay. And same thing on, so we do have some space there. We might be able to fit a couple of connectors right here tucked into the back. That would probably be better than trying to do them up there. Just this. This is coming through. We have, let me see, where's my wires? We will be using this adapter here to connect to the board. Hot-end fan is going to just be 2 wire though. It's going to go into there. This is the extruder. Keep going with, here is our harness for the other stuff. This is bed. Oh, and we have filament sensor. Filament sensor has to go in here too. That's this guy right here. There we go. Plugged in. Where are you? There we are. Okay, so that's plugged in. That's just going to go straight down, I guess. No, it comes over here. It looks like there's a potentially a little wire path over here that it should be going through. So this will come around here and then inside there, but I need to open that up and get that through. See you, Joey. So we gotta, oops. There we go, right through here. So we get to figure out what is this? Oh, was this the 50? Is this a 50 millimeter? Is that why we, woo. Is that why I didn't have that in stainless? Yeah, that's 50 millimeters. I still don't think I have that in stainless. Yeah. That's gonna mismatch. I believe I might have one around somewhere. But yeah, happy birthday to your mom. Let's see what I need to loosen to pull this. There we go. Pull this back enough to make enough space here to tuck this wire in. Oh, never mind. That was a support. There was a built-in support there. That's what that was. There's a built-in support there. I didn't need to loosen that. It'll tuck in otherwise. Just clean up the remnants from this, being careful not to. I didn't recognize that as a built-in support before. Okay, this can all tighten back up then. Hey, GTR Dad. So I expect, I'm hoping, to finish this build next month. And I'll try to do an early August stream to finish it off. This out. The question I have for you folks is, what do you want to see on the next member stream build? There we go. That goes there. And then this one can go that tuck up way. This will go in. There we go. Now that's all nice and clean there on the side. Is Chris Riley still doing YouTube? No, he stepped away. He did a post on his channel community on YouTube mentioning stepping away. Mismatched screw, that's unacceptable. It will get swapped out, but it's right there. It's easy to get to. I just have to find a 50 millimeter stainless screw. I mean, the whole printer is a mismatch of black screws on the bare stuff and stainless on the printer assembly. So Prusa wire. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Prusa wire requires a lot of purchased parts when you're coming from the leftovers from a Core 1 conversion. So, hey Liz, happy Saturday. Okay, so this is going here. If I do connectors, that's a lot of connectors. And I don't want to bundle. I want to either connect here or connect all the way at the controller. I don't want a bulge of wires out at the end. So I'm just running this through in my mind how I want to do this. So this one goes all the way, this one goes all the way. Those are easy. We'll get those out of the way. All of this and the hot end check, then the outside diameter 2GT is calculated like this. 12.224. Could you measure the outside diameter directly on the teeth with a caliper? Yeah. Let me grab I'm not going to pull that one out of there. I'm sure I have. Here's an equivalent of what I put in there. It's like 12.1. When I rotate this to make sure I'm hitting it's right at 12.09, 12.1, making sure I'm hitting the outside of the teeth instead of the inside. If I go to the inside, I can get down to 11.95. So it's 12.09. Here, let's check. This is a genuine Gates. This is going to be similar. Ah, hey, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's a whole 1/10 of a millimeter different. Okay. Okay. There's definitely, what is the other? MXL or what's there's 2GT and then there's another similar profile that's not actually what we want. That's not as funny as your earlier one, John. Yeah, all of these are 12. Around 12.1. What happened to Chris? Just busy, probably burnout. 1/10 shouldn't be an issue. No, I agree. And and I'm not seeing a 1/10 difference, or I'm not able to measure that anyway by eye. I think it'll be fine. We're just gonna go with what I have, but it is interesting to measure and check. So what I think I will do is go ahead. These two are fine. I am going to take all of these and I might put a little extra service loop in here on some of them, but I'm gonna solder in extensions. All my solder joints are gonna be right here. They're gonna be attached. They will be on the other side of the strain relief coming off of here. I don't want any solder joints out here in the bend of the umbilical. So similarly on the hot end, I'm gonna solder some extensions further down. Maybe do a similar loop it around and tie it up in there. I'm at my friend's and she's super busy. I think I'll look for cake in the fridge. Let's take this fan shroud out. Nice little thumb screw, and then I want to... Hey Neil. The smooth are 12. Okay, let's talk later together, figure this out. Okay. You know how to get a hold of me, right? Are you in Discord or email? Either one, it's fine. I'm gonna there we go. I'm gonna pull this heater off because all of these, the Prusa Revo, and actually this is an older Revo. I've had this Revo Micro for a while. The white wire ones are the ones that have a potential for having a thermistor issue. They have a higher rate of failure over time than the newer ones, which have blue wires. Since I'm giving this to a friend, I don't want to give it to him with the white wire setup. I don't want to give it to him with that one either. Let me do a quick look for a alternate. Where can I, what do I have? There we go. This one will work, and it's already something I can pull apart and I'm just about reworking my 2.4, so regret that I did not switch the cables to the fans on the print head. Those original ones are so bad. Anyway, I had to find another 40 watt. So this is a 40 watt that I've pulled off of another printer. So we'll put that down. But what I wanted to show, because every time I show this, there's someone who didn't know that was the case, is the Revos have this big old serial number tag on them. And a lot of people don't realize that that is heat shrink. And it was really nice to be able to shrink that out of the way without getting rid of it. And you can still read the serial number and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the QR code might be readable as well. But anyway, we're not going to use that one. So, demo over. This is going to be the one we're going to use. Okay, I had already done that to this one, so used a heat gun for heat shrink and the soldering open. You're way too hot then, or some severely low melt solder. Okay, for right now, I'm just cutting these back on the other side of my previous. So this is a heater core I used in probably on a printer with the Big Tree Tech toolhead board, because the heater wires are pretty long on here. LDO needs to send resellers a blue frame 250s. Hey, that's my keyboard. You're sitting on the keyboard. soldering the thermistor wires too. I always stick to crimping that one since solder changes the resistance. I'm gonna solder the, do you really think it changes the resistance enough to change the value? I'm gonna solder these, but because I don't have an proper way to crimp that. So I won't necessarily disagree there because I don't know, but I am going to solder it, and I need some wire. So I need some 20 gauge wire and some 24 gauge wire for this. I'm going to use some PTFE. I don't think our distances and wire length make enough of a difference. I don't think I have the ability to measure that effectively either for any kind of confirmation. So there's some, I think this is actually 18 gauge wire. And have some, I'll just keep with blue to keep it nice and consistent, some 24 gauge blue. Very much solder could make much of a difference on a 100K ohm resistor. Yeah, these are the 104 NT4. Where is my little heat shrink bits? There they are. Rebuilt my Prusa Mini, which had an early Revo on it. White wire thermistor died in the middle of the third print post rebuild. Yeah, I've had one go out, down. I've had at least one fail, so I don't want to send it along with one of those. Some blue heat shrink, and I have a piece of appropriately sized black in here. This is all scraps and smaller diameter stuff. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so if this goes up in here, can I do a, this is going to be kind of tight, but it'll bundle up in there. I'd rather have a little bit of a loop in there. So maybe I'll just cut these where they were. So let's get two pieces of this, a little longer. Put them on. This fiberglass fiber insulation on these is a real pain, so I wanted to put the heat shrink over it first before I cut and strip. I gotta get it over the previous heat shrink, but it's tight, but it does it. Get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way so Oscar can sit on his chair if he wants to. To repair thermistor wiring on industrial equipment once in a while, even if 5 to 6 foot, it does not make any noticeable difference. Sorted. Fix it up. Anyway, I don't know if I didn't actually read any suggestions on besides the besides the Prusa wire. as like September Charlie's Angels stream content. What do you folks think? Hi. Over there. And nice to see Oscar interested in the build. He's like, is there more treats? That's what he's interested in. Is there more treats? If I get in your way enough, will you give me more treats? Hey, Jared. Welcome. How are you? I wonder how long I'm going to need here. How long do I need to make these? Is this going to be long enough to... If I make them as long as this, is this going to be... I think by nature, this should be long enough. This should be a good gauge. It all goes to the same spot, so wherever this is, if I make these wires just a little longer than that, I want to minimize waste. I'm tired, but good. New job has been brutal on time. Oh yeah. Orange cat doing orange cat things. Yes. Yes, 100%. So that's there, and we'll give it a little bit more. Call that good. So there's one. Two. There's that. I'm gonna just cut these to length. Pull the old heat shrink off. Just re-cramp right to where it was. Okay. What are you doing with the wires? Extending them. Extending all of the wires. I am just going to make long wires for these with, hopefully I can find, oh shoot. Okay, I had the wrong tip on my iron. Let's do a literal hot swap. Just gonna get this set off to the side. He's not that hot. Come on, stop. There you go. Ah. Andrew. I need to, yeah, this OmniFixo is so handy. Hi. what am I extending them? Well, I'm extending them with this PTA, or this, actually I think this is FEP. This is Lineo wiring, but I'm extending them so I can get to the controller without a bundle of connectors at the tool head. And the intent here is I mean, the default Prusa setup has just long wires on them, so if I'm doing any work, it's not that arduous to just take the umbilical apart. This is OmniFixo. It is it a Dutch company? Is it Swiss? It's from somewhere in that general part of the world. I mentioned it before, but these will be bundled and attached within the confines of the little support on the back of the tool head, so there won't be any strain on these solder joints. It's all good, nice and shiny. Swedish. Yeah. OmniFixo. Heat shrink up here. What's really handy is when you start thinking about how to utilize these outside of the confines of this little plate. So for instance, I was working on the back of Phoenix, and it has a pair of power supplies back there, and I had wires close by, and I just stuck these to the power supply so I could have some holders for the wires I was working on. Okay, so that's that one. And these, same thing. Does this go over that? No, that won't go over that. So I'm gonna have to. It's the heat shrink I want to use. We need magnets for aluminum. Not how magnets work. Let's cut this off and see if I can. It's on there. Yep, there we go. Cool. Not a big deal. The fiber insulation on these heater wires doesn't seem as bad as this stuff on this thermistor to deal with. Okay, and then this is probably going to be closer. We'll do a little, I think I'll do a little shorter on these. Bing. Safety squints. Oh. fibers off of there. Hey, John. Why am I extending them? Because they need to get to the control board. We haven't figured out wireless tool heads yet. Hey. Stop. Once we figure out wireless tool heads, then I won't need to extend the wires. Okay. That. Let's see how long these are. This up, take that there. Yep, just enough. Did you guys see Daniel's video today, Modbot, about the Eddy NG stuff? He did a good job explaining that. Yeah, thick wire. What is this? This is 18 gauge. Yep. This is 18 gauge. More than enough. Some heat in there. Some heat. There we go. Can't really see what I'm doing here. It heats up enough, the solder will flow. Oh, that one didn't. I couldn't see it well enough in the angle I had. So get that fully. Oh. Nice and shiny all around. Hey. Not super happy with that one. Let's pull this out of here. Get this thing up in here on its own. Check it again. So it's just a little. Too much solder on there. Guys. Okay, that's playing. I have no way to make this camera view full screen. Otherwise I would. But, oh, the tackle. Look at the tail. Felix's tail is going like crazy too. So this is playtime. See, Felix's tail. Hey, Mr. K. Okay. So that is that. Wires here. These wires are thick. Oh. Now I do think I want to twist these guys. I want to twist these guys just to get them controlled. Is my drill. It's the impact driver here. Where's the drill? There it is. Need bell ring and crowd cheer sound effect. That is true. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hold this. I don't necessarily want to twist it the whole way. So I'm going to hold it right here. I'm not going to twist the fiber side of it. Oops, other way. Now we can gently pull this out of that little twist at the end. I don't want to just pull on it. There we go. There. Now this won't be, it's effectively one wire that I have to wrangle. Hey, Ricky B. You like my little, the OmniFixo is so versatile. So I needed a little extra pull on there. So you just get some helpers. Get some friends clamped. Okay, so that is the hot end. So now we need to extend the hot end fan and the stepper Do we want to just, yeah, we can solder the stepper. It's easy enough. We can do all of those. So, just getting appropriate wires. Some different color stuff. OmniFixo is omnipotent. Nearly. Stepper color wires here. Jeez. And then I just throw it away. It's just a bit expensive. Yes. Okay, so that's gonna go there. The other end's gonna need its own crimped side. It's gonna use this for this fan. I'll use everything but the green for that. Then we need red and black for the hot end fan. So hot end fan out more. There's that. We'll grab the same thing here. Now I'm hoping I can find all my Molex SL connector stuff. Okay. Larger set with magnifying glass. OmniFixo style thing? Or does OmniFixo have a magnifying glass version now? What is going on here? Was this extended? Huh. Nope. Ooh, this might be better. This might be better. It already has an SL on the end. Extruder has to go through here. I think this is going to be better. Then I can this is one of the wires that was already on here. Then I don't have to go searching for connectors that I'm not 100% sure where they are. And this might have been the extruder wire that was on here before. Ow! What was that for? Oh, I was playing with wires here and Felix attacked me. See ya, don't knock it. Okay, so this will go to there. This is a slightly more important on the length. So it goes there. This goes here. This is going to go. Give myself a little bit extra at the end. Let's cut this right here. Okay. this will plug into this little, is that extruder? Yeah, plug it right there. This is going to be a little more fiddly to get to, just because of the extruder being a fixed wire setup. Oh, and it's already through. I can pull this though. I'll pull this more, a little more length. There we go. Oh, and we can just do this one off the printer. That'll be good. So we need to do this right here. Need it. I need. Where is that? Ah, there it is. The little JST. Okay. Two of them. There we go. Let's just clean these up so they're not evenly. Oh, are these twisted pairs and then are these twisted as a pair and then twisted again? Is that the intent on these? Has anybody ever noticed that? Are matching pairs twisted and then twisted around each other? Is that the, that looks right. What tool is that? This is another one of the J-Ready. J-Ready, but this is the JST removal tool. Okay. It's not as magic. This isn't magic. It just works most of the time. So, okay. Now we need to do this. Probably it's easiest to do something like this and this. There we go. These are on this wire anyway. It's just a whole bundle twisted. It's not individually. So I don't know. yo-yo would work on the moon's gravity. Would you need a yo-yo that's the equivalent weight to distance, whatever ratio? Would it work if the weight was right? Suggested that the reduced gravity would reduce the friction force on the string spindle connection so it wouldn't climb the string. Ah. Okay, what do I have? A green? Get a green. Is this gonna be a good size, or do I need the next size up? I think I need the next size up. Might be able to get away with this one. Let's just go the next size up. Green, blue, red. Contend that the lower gravity also reduces the downforce on the yo-yo, therefore it still works. I would be very surprised if this is not something that has ever been explored before. Color matched heat shrink. That's all. Okay, examination. This will do. Let's do this. Hot. Hot, hot. Okay. Posted a vid in the CA stream chat. Nice. See if we can get a twist back in this. Second. Okay. So there's that. That's going to go back around. Now we have our fan. It's probably going to be easiest just take the fan off. And okay, let's see here. I shouldn't have taken that all the way off. Should have checked to see my wire lengths first. That goes there and comes around here. So let's cut this right about there. And this is a Prusa 5-volt fan in here. I think I'm going to do a little bit of dab of super glue there as a strain relief. Because this yellow wire doesn't want to stay in place. So what I'll do is basically bridge this gap here, and then uh-oh. So I basically have a blob of CA glue there, and I'm going to activate it. Let that sit. That CA glue I use has a flex. It's made for shoes. Shoe fix glue. So it has a flex agent in it. So it's not quite as brittle as a regular CA glue. Now that ought to, it's basically bridge CA across that opening. Should keep it in there a little easier. Okay, I wanted yellow, red, and black. Do I have anything pre-existing in that color scheme? Maybe not. was actually somewhat hoping I had the wire that I actually cut off of that fan, but I don't see it here. Let me check one more spot. Other wire or miscellaneous wire? Because somewhere I probably have that that wire I cut off of there. Not in other wire. What about in miscellaneous wire? Everybody has this many wire boxes, right? That won't do. Nope. Nothing that I want to. Actually, this will do. This will do. I'm going to use this. Tangle it. So I think this is equivalent wire gauge. Okay. Never find the right one. So what I have here is, yeah, this is the same wire gauge. What I have here is an old 1 meter BL Touch, maybe not 1 meter, but it's a BL Touch extension wire. I am absolutely never going to use it for such use. So let's get that abomination of a connector. Get about. The rest of this can go back. You took my seat. Uh-oh. Felix got the wire caught Felix's attention. Okay. So we have this here. Split this because this is bonded. These are itty bitty wires. So may get him playing with his tail. He was just playing with his tail a minute ago. As soon as I notice, he stops. Okay. What do I want to do here? These are super thin wires. Insulating them is going to be a little more tricky. So what I may do is stagger them. I'm going to do one piece of insulation over the whole thing. Only 31 likes. We have more than 50%. So these are always lower attendance all that kind of good stuff. It is all good. Let's just use a piece of this fit on there. Actually. Hi. Let's go with this. Let's go with yellow. What's up? And then I want kind of a long piece because this is going to go over a distance. And what are we going to do here? If we take this, just put this right here for right now. Hold you in place. Take this. It all matches. So let's cut this one right here. This one right here. Here. Oops. Line these back up. These right here. There. Now, if I match all those up, they will be nowhere near being able to short out with each other, and I can use one piece of heat shrink over the whole thing. Here we go. So they should that way. Little tiny strips is all we need. .28 gauge wire. Oh. Okay. In this case, you can put the heat shrink on after soldering. Yep. Modbot has dropped a video on the Eddy NG. You tried it, Steve? Well, Daniel and I both used the Eddy NG setup on our Tic Tac builds. If you saw that. Remember, solder first, then put on the heat shrink. Well, I've thought about that, John. I thought about that. I knew that I could do it after, so I don't have to deal with worrying about whether the heat shrink is on there or not. So believe it or not, I do have an inner monologue. So I don't vocalize every thought that comes into my head. Believe it or not. All of this prep, and we will have it nice and clean. Nice and clean umbilical. That would be a bad thing. That would be a really bad thing. Okay, this can go over here, this can go here. solder all these together. So we will start. I should be able to just kind of hold these. Just use this as my guide. There we go. One of them. And then we turn it. The next one. There. And we can bend these into place. There we go. Hey Raj, take me years to figure out how to filter. Turning a heat forge and updating Milo at the same time. Fun. So now when I stretch these out, it looks like the, clip this a little bit. You don't have to be perfect, but I can help this along. There's a little extra on this, cut that, put that in there to closer to the same length. There we go. Oops. There we go. So now they're all staggered. There's nowhere close to being able to run into each other. And as long as there aren't any little tails on any of the little solder tails on there that can work their way through another the insulation, then we'll be fine. It's not gonna, I mean, I'm gonna put it within the bundle at the back, so it shouldn't move. Just updated my printer to a Pi.5 so I can run all the features in Calico. Tell me a little more about that. What features in Calico take advantage of the additional compute power of the Pi.5? Closely examine this to make sure we don't have anything that is going to cause any issues, and it's looking okay. So now we'll put this guy here. And that is a little big. Let's see, I want as small a piece of heat shrink as will fit on there. Was there a Wi-Fi on Pi.5 issue? Here. I should be able to get a little smaller piece. Actually, I wonder if I can use some of this since I have it. I didn't know there was a Wi-Fi on Pi.5 issue. There are 3 bleeding edge features: improved stepper driving for precision, smooth shapers, and PA tuned to input shaper that do take the additional power. I'm gonna take one of my heat shrink label things and see if this will fit over there. It will, so we're gonna use that. Go. I didn't quite get it centered, but it's on there. We do it. That is really thin heat shrink though, I'm noticing. So I am going to grab another piece and double up where the solder connections are. All three are stated needing more compute. Your BTT Pi 2 couldn't handle it. Interesting. The hope is I can coordinate so that Roger is going to come on as a guest as part of the Micron update series. So we're going to overlap that just over where the connections are. There we go. MPC rather than PID tuning, but that's default in Calico. Yeah. Okay, one more. Is it just one more? We got the hot end fan to extend. I don't have. This is the one that comes with the Revo. So, nope, that's not the one. Where's the, oh, there it is. We'll pull the pins out of here because it is a good connector I don't want to waste. There's a little micro fit. Yeah. 5 PMs. Be labeled and name. Oh. Okay. So these come off. Itty bitty wires. Super itty bitty wires. So this is going to go here, but it's going to go here and here, and so I'm going to cut those again there. Okay. Once again, I think I'm going to do the same thing because these wires are so small. I'm not going to get good individual heat shrink on it. So I'm going to cut one of these shorter so that we don't have overlapping solder joints. Pi 5 needs a decent 5 volt, 5 amp power supply. Thankfully, Octopus Max EZ has a dedicated output for it that can supply that much. I like the little IRM 30-5 is a 6 amp 5 volt power supply. That's what I have on the Cascade here for that. Okay. There, and here's the other one I set. These little bitty guys go down to 30. Let's try 28. That worked. Turn the chair back. Oh, they're being nice now. Okay. So 5 amp is limited with a lot of USB cables. You can buy a certain type. I didn't know that. I found some, what gauge was it? It was 20 or 22 gauge USB PD kind of DIY cables on Amazon. Have nice heavy power wires in them that I use to make one for Cascade. Too much solder, the wire. There we go. Perfect. Have to go, unfortunately. Thanks again for the stream. It's a real pleasure to see a bear on your channel. Nice end of stream. Cheers to everyone in chat. See you, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the insight on the little things we talked about. This is all just boring wiring here anyway. Stuff specific to this build. There's a little flag there. You can feel the flag. Any giveaways today? The Home Depot, welcome. I don't do giveaways on the member streams. I don't gatekeep the giveaways. I don't know that that's legal everywhere, for one. That's a big reason. So this is bonus content for members. And then everybody after a month. Okay, so that goes there. I mean, that's the proper term, right? Gatekeeping. You'd be gatekeeping it if I restricted it to members only. Okay. It's not true. Giveaways, knowledge and wisdom. Exactly. Okay, so this is gonna go here. Knowledge, at least. Okay, make sure that's coming out straight there. Look at that. Nice and centered. It feels strong. That's a little thicker heat shrink. It's a lot nicer for that. I was thinking about twisting that just to keep it together. Everything else is kind of, yeah, I think I will. A couple of hold. Is that heat shrink? Yeah. There's the difference in the, what I it on the bottom. Here it is. It's here. Now it's effectively one wire that I have to worry about. There we go. Okay. Are we done? I have some crimping to do on the other end, but we are ready to put the tool head the rest of the way together. Woohoo. I like that technique. I'm going for it next time. I have to butt solder wires nice and clean. Yeah, just be careful. Just be really careful. You want to make sure that you don't have any little flags of solder sticking off that would potentially poke through the insulation on the other side. Make sure you're doing it in an area like this is going to all be bundled on that side of the end here. So everything should be okay. It shouldn't move. So the little flags of little spikes of solder you get, if you have too much on there, not the right temperature, that kind of thing, can cause that stuff away. Temporary nozzle on there. It's holding it. I'd love to have a counter spinner so they untwist even harder. Okay, let's get this underneath here. Go. Oh, no. You. There we go. That. Straight out the back. As intended. Go right there. So this comes out here. The little solder spikes are usually a result of oxidizing due to overheating a solder joint. Overheating it, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so now we have this guy who I'm going to put in first. It's our filament sensor wire. One's just going out the back. And then our fan, let's go back here. I did not know that. It's there. Here. And then our fan duct. View of my armpit there for a second. Make sure all of this is on here correctly. There we go. There. Okay. So now this is going to come around. I want this to go over think this comes through here. Other side of this, like that. This guy comes in and holds all those in place. There we go. That's where that goes. There is a little channel there, and then this can go here, and now you see I'm not blocking the idler here, just barely. Pull this just a little bit more, and that there should be nice and clean. Bone tired, have to drop off. See you, Andres. See you tomorrow. Okay. So that is these. Let's do here. It's a Velcro here. So I'm not pulling all this stuff. There. All of this reaches out the back. I can move this around. There we go. We have our bundle coming out the back. So this is going to go kind of bent up. Okay. And then our plug-in fan. Also, this should just go in there like that. So we're not pinching any wires. That weird feeling when you fire up your printer for the first time in ages, as if magically settings may have changed. Well, okay. So before starting the Micron rebuild, I started it up because I was going to back up the configuration and print history and stuff that I had on there. And it won't start up. It started up last time I turned it on and used it. It won't start up. Power is not getting to the compute module or the CB1 that is on the Manta M8P. So hasn't been on in ages, worked last time, fired it up, doesn't work. I have no idea what's going on. I troubleshot it for a while, tried to narrow down what might be causing the problem, no luck. So we will be part of the Micron build. We'll be mounting that SD card on the new system when we get it set up so we can copy the files that I want to get. Okay, that is looking pretty fantastic. Oops. Tool head from the front, it's all set. This one we don't need. That out of the way. Okay, so now we can come around to this side. Get all of these over here. And then this. At least the SD card is okay. Well, I haven't actually looked. I don't know that it is. It's not a huge loss if I don't have any of that, but okay. With all of this in its space, take this off and oops. You see that? See that? That's in the wrong spot. That's in the wrong spot. That's supposed to go above. So gotta fix that. Maybe RC parts, servo extension wire, some use yellow instead of white. What's that? There we go. Now it's up. I save all the wires. I do. I mean, I don't have to buy. I don't buy things like wires and heat sets and stuff very often. Go. Much better. Okay, what are the size screws for this? We'll be able to get that from here. Come down here. We've got those in. Tight. Moving smooth. No wiggling like last. Those were, oh, there were two. Oh, I had one M3x50. I didn't have two. I need to find another one. I bet you I have it. And that's the routing for that filament sensor. And then, yeah, that goes the fan. We got all that right. All this goes through. Stepper, micro fan. These are M3x18 on top and by 2 on the bottom. So that's really all I need to know. Okay, cool. M3x18. I would like to get, we're gonna go for a little while longer here. I'd like to get to the point where the electronics are mounted, but we may not get to the part where I'm crimping these, the ends on these wires. Because if I can avoid having to search for my Molex SL connectors, that would be good. Oh, come on, I want a Prusa fastener. There's one. Okay. So now all of this. These, we're making sure that all of this tucked up inside of here, tucked up above the bearing, making sure that my solder connections that I've made here are all, let's keep all this stuff on the correct sides. There we go. Make sure that I'm not letting any of those solder connections be past the end of where I'm going. So this here, right? That, these, yeah, 18 here. Two 10s on the bottom. And I had been checking to make sure my bearing was still aligned the way I wanted it. As far as I can tell, it stayed there. I had to tweak it a little bit, but the bearings in the LMU8 are the direction I want them to be. There. Oh, that will go right like that. These will go, and I'm gonna flip these around. It's gonna do a little service loop because these are beyond that spot. So I'm hoping I can do that. It's a little tight there. We'll see. Not a lot of room otherwise. So we'll see. See you, Ricky B. That's pretty good. So what can I do here? I can basically fold this back and over like that. That'll get the same thing here. Back and over. It's going to make for a little bit of a bundle down here, but at least those connections are there. Since I have this kind of where I want it, let's see if I can get to some zip ties. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work really well, I think. Barely even tell. Hi, Felix. Oh, both of you. There we go. Straight out. Hey, Kyle. Okay. That is looking fantastic. The question is this the original bundle, or is this bigger? It feels like it's bigger than a regular Prusa wire bundle, and it feels like it's way big for what we have here. It doesn't need to be this big. Let's see what we can do about that. Let's just give the few of the cats, for as long as they're willing to be up here, And I need to find what bin stuff in. I got bed wiring here. Where is the Prusa sleeving? Not in there. I have a thing with the nylon cord too. Where is that nylon cord? It's over in here. Or the little support piece. Yeah, here it is. A little support piece. So let's see if this. Yeah, that fits in there. And then this will come here. That's needed. Then, where did I get that? I got that from this one. I got that from this one. In there. Ah, here we go. This will do. This might be better for the support. Okay. Okay, so I think this is the correct sleeving. And then we have this piece. Printed. Yes, that's fun. Where did those go? Could be right here. It's the entries to the control box. Those parts were right here. See the fuzzy balls? Oh yeah. Did one of the cats take one? Did they take one? To wipe off the brain cobwebs, haven't used Milo in a bit. Yeah, same here. Where did those go? Where did those go? Okay, I'm puzzled. I am puzzled. I printed the little pieces to go into the control box. And I've seen them. I have laid eyes on them. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of the parts I was looking for. In here? No, but that's parts I'm looking for. This is potentially the correct. This is the correct sleeving. This is the correct sleeving. This one is smaller. This is correct. Ah, there they are. There they are. Found it. So this is what I was looking for. What I wanted to see is this is a straight thing on both sides. This one has the right angle on it. I think this one, is it this one that can go into? Yeah, I think this one goes in and tucks in right there, right? Goes like that to there. Should be able to bend it. I think I would have to heat it to bend it, but if I can use one that's already correct, then when this goes on here, that goes that way. Which means this goes like that, which means this has to go like that. There we go. Okay. All that just so I can get started on putting all this together. This one and this one. Okay, it's this one. Hey, Bob. Not include that piece for now. There we go. Hey, Brent. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's see. Zip ties. I had zip ties right over here. There they are. So I think I want to try there. Just get this locked in place right here. There we go. Okay, now we need to introduce other stuff. Which is not as easy. this out. Work it all the way down there. That gets everything into the middle here. And then we want to go back the other way. Put the twist in it needs. There it is. Nice and neat. Then it'll go right here. Might have a little long on some of the wires here, and I think that actually goes quite long. So I don't know if I don't have enough length on the sleeving here. Is the sleeving length different between a Mark III and a Mark IV? Is this one longer? Not by a lot, but probably by enough to make the difference. Okay, I think I have to redo that because this isn't long enough. I think, did you learn to wire loom up your daughter's hair like that? I only have a son, so I do have nieces, but I've never done their hair. Okay, what do we want to do here? That is not long enough, so I need to replace it. Do I replace it with this one? Do I see what I have in my own inventory of stuff? Maybe in the position of the anchor point in the extruder. Yeah, it might be. This might be longer than it needs to be. That's a good question. Is there, I wonder, they tend to show that kind of stuff. Let's go to, where are we? That's what we need to play with. Let's go Prusa 2D. Let's go help. And let's go 4S. Prusa kit assembly. And then assembly. This is going to be in next year probably. Let's try this. Where did they have us putting? The other way I can look for is the nylon cable in there. I think that's it. Here we are. Connecting the extruder main cable. Oh, that's already done. Nope, that's purple. Heat bed cable black. Oh, that's the black cable. Where's the little strain relief cable? Ah, nylon. They say 380, so they do put a length on it. We just have to figure out where is the nylon. Let's go parts and accessories. And 4. Is there a search through here? Enter search term. They're calling it nylon. Here we are. There we are. 555 millimeters. Trim the nylon guide on the end in the extruder. I'm just trying to figure out how long it needs to be. This other one I have here is, so this is 555 millimeters is the one that comes with it. I have 490 on this one, and I don't know how long this one is. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's that out. It might not be a great idea, but let's pull this thing out. How long is this thing? Ah, 520. What's that? Oh, about 2 hours between, yeah. Distance. Here, before I commit to any of this, let's put the control box on. Let's put the control box on and figure out where we're going. This isn't, I mean, it's a combination of parts, so things aren't necessarily going to follow the manual. Figure it out. An extruder case. This is still going to go in here somehow, but there are printed parts that are used. It's either these, I think these are power supply. That's all display. Okay. It's in here. What was the, is this something like this? Back here, let's go to 3D models and printables. And what was this? The MK3 or 4 Bear. Oops, holy moly. My fingers were not in the right spot. See if this comes up. I think this is what I downloaded. Right here. And find a little more which files go to what. Aha. Okay. So does that go like that? Yes. With that picture, I see how it's supposed to go. Are both sides? Or is it just one side that it gets mounted on? There we are. That's better. Ah, there's one down there. Okay. So we have these parts that, hi, what's up? Let's go over there. Okay, so those need to be 8 millimeter. 8 millimeter. These are all 10s. Do I have any more 8s? 8 millimeter. Low profile, 8 millimeter. 8s, here we are. We have, where are our, I'm running out of hardware. Is that? Apparently I've used all of them, so I'll dive into these, I guess. There we go. Oh. So now I got to figure out how to get that on there with the tool head out of the way. So let's do a little, there we go. Use a screw in there as a spacer. What's this? Yes, we didn't have a choice. We would have done it anyway, especially the male cats. I did not want to deal with them spraying. So yes, they are both knitted. Across 3 others and streams that are meant to be informal. On my stream, a lot of, oh. Ask me. I mean, I was just rolling with it. I wasn't gonna ask. Oh. Okay, this up out of the way. Screw in here's a spacer. This on here. So those are gonna do something like that. That can come out. Where are these gonna go? So this sets right here. Who doesn't like to wake up to the smell of cat pee? Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna go right there. I'm lining up the screw hole in this with the top of the key slot-ish. A key slot in here. What goes in here? Is there a, was I supposed to, oh yeah, I need to put a square nut up in there. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, that is I guess a little M3x10. That's not gonna hold in place on its own, so let me grab a M3x10s over here. It's too loose to hold in on its own. So let's do that. And yep. Aren't you going in? What is going on? Not all the way up. Huh. Okay. Not pushing in all the way. Let's do it off the printer. Let's see what's down inside of here. My guess is that although this mod is designed, this mod is designed for a Prusa, they've actually used hex nut. Just guessing. Yep, a hex nut. It's modeled for a hex nut instead of a square nut. That's fine. Well, out to shift chains. See you, Martin. Another hex nut. There we go. And these. This is, I guess that just has to push through there. Those itty bitty screws. I'm going to use shorter screws here. That's in the wrong spot anyway. I'm going to use aluminum 3x6s here. That might be what's intended anyway. Yeah, I'm going to use aluminum 3x6s. Okay, now we go back through this again. Oh, this guy can go on. Have a new thing to add to the Micron build. The colony clacker door is going to go on that build. I have not done a extrusion door on any of my Vorons, so it'll be a good experience. There we go. So I should be able to push these into place height-wise, tighten it on this side. Make sure these are pushed up into the slot. And then loosen both of these. Drop it down into place. Just like that. Love my clacky doors. Yeah, I just haven't tried it. I did find some major printability issues in the files for it though. There are some overhangs that are impossible to print, and some overhangs and a fillet against the bed that makes for a very difficult print. I've modified the R1 parts for the colony clacker, printing one now. What parts, Tuxedo? I modified the screen. The little bit of modification I did is I cut out, because you can't get to the Z adjustment screws. These parts block it. This is the new front display. So I cut spots out here to be able to get to those. But the printability of the of some of it is pretty poor. Gotta slow down on the printer builds. You're costing me too much money. Oh, we've got a lot more coming. I think stealth changer parts are on the way. So this goes here. And then there's a screw. Oh, I probably need to have a nut put in here. Yeah, there's probably another hex nut. So that's what we'll just put in there right away. Just tight, 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 tight. The 2 front Z drives, BTT35 and the wave share point with the trim pieces on the sides. They have files out there for all of that, right? That's actually too thick to go in there. So maybe this one's a square nut. Why is this one a square nut and the other ones are hex nuts? The square nut fits perfect in there. And dear, when will it be part 2 of the Micron? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. It's really only a day away. So that goes in there. Then we'll loosen this guy back here up. It's up with the side. There we go. Are there? Did I do all that CAD work for nothing again? Yeah, it might be fairly new out there, but I downloaded all that stuff that was pre-done. It just needs some tweaks. There you go, Andrew. Good job. Got click clack doors on every printer, but my switch wire, and I love them. I like the split doors. I like the reference split doors. I'm have a process and whatever for setting them up well, though. Do you think index will be used like a CNC? Just rack different nozzles on the printer. Any print, you just use the nozzle that suits that print. Could be. Okay, so that's lined up there. That's all installed there. This is going to end up going like that. This is gonna go. So let's do a little mock-up stuff without the hex nut. There's a T-nut. Let's do some mock-up without the nylon in there. Let's see how things are going to line up. Hey guys. You guys have proven there's room for both of you there. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, so that's there, that's there. This is gonna go here. So if this comes around, get this. Post a link in this to the modded parts. You don't see them on the Colony Collector GitHub? Yeah, I mean, I can post it. I just... That is really tight. I've only proven there's room for both when they want to cuddle. This is true. Is that? Oh, that's more than 10. That's like the 18, huh? Ooh. There you are. Okay, and then another 18. Is that what this is? Oh, that's a 20. There's an 18. Found it, never mind. Okay, good. That goes there. These screws on. Good enough. So if we go here, that's plenty. That's fine. There's no issue there. We can probably pull this out just a little bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. So what I think I'm actually gonna do is I'm just not gonna bother actually putting that nylon into the side of this plastic piece. I'll just run it in and call it okay. I got the X stepper to run in there, but we need to put the controller in there anyway. So we can do that right now. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Oh, this can come out. It's down there. This guy will go in here. So, why are you just spinning? I'm not actually in the spot. Come on out. Ah, that's why. That's why. Gotta get the Ethernet port aligned before we can put this on. There we go. Now things will a whole lot better. What I think I want to do is, in case I'm tweaking the case a bit, I'm gonna loosen all these because those weren't lining up the way I think they should. I suspect it's because the case is being tweaked. Right. That's not correct. Things are not correct. Let's tighten that. Tighten that. Loosen all of these. Figure out what's going on. Go. That is not lining up right there. It's not because of anything I've done here. Ah, that's why. Okay. Pull this out because this stud has been compromised. So I'm going to try first just running a steel screw from the backside just to make sure. See if it'll clean it up enough. Yeah, see, they're a little goobered. Okay, now, fortunately it's a stainless screw I was using, so hopefully it's okay. Now we can put this back in here. Make sure that that network port, see, that really, that is very aggressively not wanting to be there. Oh, darn it, Bob. Bob, darn it. You're right. I forgot the thermal pads. Oh, darn it. Where are those? Where is that box? I just had that box. There it is. Is it in here? They're not in there. Okay. Can't take that Bob guy anywhere. No. You wait until now to remind me. It's bad. I need that at some point. Okay, I have extra thermal pads up here somewhere. There they are. Who else was yelling at the screen? Be honest, who yelled at the screen and didn't type anything? One, two, and three. Wow, to be doubly honest, if I had remembered to do it when I should have done it, I would have had a problem because it would have wanted to stick and I would have been messing around with everything. So. Doubly honest, is that a thing? Apparently. Honesty doesn't cancel it out, so doubly honest should be a thing. Too honest, don't make her wrong, or dishonest, I don't know. I ordered a pack of tweezers. These little ceramic tip tweezers are nice. They don't have any grip. Too thick. Okay, let's try this again. Cat hair increases thermal efficiency by 30%. If so, then we're in luck. That does help it stick in place a little better. Doesn't, oh, there it goes, there it goes. A little better. All right, we'll start with that one. Leave it loose. Let's see if this one will go in. Is this so good? What's up, Felix? Yep, good. Those need to be modded too in order to match with the screen mount. The ones that are out there don't match? The ones that are out there for the colony collector don't match? Pick one post above. Colony collector get its modded 3.5 and 4.3 screen mounts with their respective accent pieces, but haven't found modded G2Z. Ah, that's the difference. I'm using the regular Z, not G2Z. There we go. Now it's in there. I wonder what'll end up going there and for what. There are cat hairs in here. Lots of cat hairs. Okay. Oops, over here. Oh. I'm not using G2Z. I'm using the regular Z drive. So it's gonna go there, and then this monstrosity of connections has to be in here, which kind of sucks, but I don't think I have, yeah, I don't have all the things, well, I don't have this main connector, the big one. I don't have that, so this probably goes right here. Okay, let's, with all of that, is the power supply, use the 1T.1 for the X-Buddy mounts for the power supply. Cable holder placement, red circles. What's that for? Okay. Use bigger radius for the XLCD cables for better overall cable routing. Oh, because it might not be quite long enough to tuck into the corner. Where's the... Oh, that's not the same. They're not using the same mounts as they show here. That's funny. That's that. What about the power supply? They don't show anything for the power supply. Okay, well, let's figure it out. So we have the power supply here, and I'm guessing it's gonna do about the same thing. We do have oh, that's display. I don't have anything else here. The other ones. Where did I put those? Ah, there they are. Did they use the same thing? Let's see. Close this and go to the files. We want, is it Z? Z motor mounts, Z tops. What is that? Oh, it's these. That's the 10mm rods, which I'm not using. I'm just looking at the electronics. So X-Buddy case is this. This is what I just installed in the cover. But what about the power supply? This carriage cable holder. Oh, is this different? Oh, that's for a top. Oh, I didn't put a top on it. Do I have a top? On the carriage holder. I don't have a top. I never put the top on it. It needs a top. I'll look at that. But where is... There's nothing for the power supply. Oh, but that would be in the Bear files. Never mind. Power supply is not unique to the Mark IV. So the power supply should have been... Let's go back here. Should have been here. Oops, sorry. Bear upgrade should have been in here. Came this close to getting a cat one time. It had a black marking right across his nose. It looked like a... I was going to name him. Hilarious. Let's see. Printed parts. Common to all versions. Is that going to be correct? Let's see if there's power supply stuff. No. Let's look at the Mark III and Mark IIIS. PSU upper mount. Oh, nope, silver and black. So this is silver. This is black. Ah, so it is the same. Is that the same thing? Same file? It is not. It is not. How does that work? How does that work? Because you have to have a... Oh, do you sneak a M4 screw in here and tighten it on? So that's not this one. Okay, so I don't have the parts printed. I don't have the parts printed for the power supply because what I have here looks similar, but they don't have the wrench access hole to be able to screw this to the side of this. And I think this needs to go there, and then hopefully, yeah, that seems to clear through there, even if this is over here. You sneak the M4 in there. Okay. And it's not like I have these reversed either, because the ones that I used for the here wouldn't have the correct nut if I didn't have the right ones there. That blue part is the part for the metal buddy case. That's what these are. What I did is I printed them in blue and I printed them in black as well. And I ended up putting black on the printer. This I know was printing both colors just to see which one I wanted. I just simply didn't print the power supply stuff, it looks like. has to sit up there. And then there's going to be a lower mount. Prusa upper mount black, Prusa lower mount black. Should be a fairly, that's weird. That doesn't match. Unless it goes up. So my challenge I'm working out here is this has to go something like that, but it can only set down about that far. So does that other piece extend all the way down here? It doesn't look like it. Looks like it. Where does that go? That doesn't look like it matches up. Why doesn't the GitHub have pre-sliced files? Oh, the lower mount is for the rear extrusion, not the Z. You need 2 upper mounts. I know I need 2 upper mounts. What I'm looking at is this lower mount has got to mount somewhere around here, but looking at the part and realizing that this can only go down to about there as far as the power supply. There's a sizable gap here to be able to, and that doesn't look like this part would meet that gap. Spaced away from the Z. Spaced away. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. It does space away. That would mount right. That looks mirrored then. That looks mirrored to where it should be. I'm confused. That looks mirrored. I know it's correct. I'm just, the way I'm trying to figure it out in my head, this looks mirrored. If it has to, it's a positron version. Okay. Do I do have the right filament over there. ET gray. Oops. Let's get that warming up. I'm not going to be able to have these done by the time we're done here, but at least I can have them going and don't have to remember to do it after. I already have the filament on this printer that I'm going to print it in. Picture in CA chat. Oh, okay. I get it. I just wasn't twisting my brain enough. Instead of 90 degrees, I had to go 180 degrees. Save this. Oh, I might have the files already. Let's see. Yep, there it is. There we go. How long does it say it'll take? An hour. It says an hour and a half. It'll probably be more like an hour, but. Keep going over here. Okay, I don't need to save that. What else can we make progress on? It is 4 hours into this. I did really want to be further than this on this build because I do want to finish it in one more stream. We spent a ton of time on wiring though. The rest of the build is not much. So I think what we will do, since it is 4 hours now, is I think since I have to print these, we'll call it. Yeah. Name your cat Metamucil. Let me look at these pictures that were sent. All the pictures. Where did you send them? Oh, you put them in general chat. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same thing. Spectra. So being a channel member, if you go and link Discord to YouTube, you will automatically get a role that allows you to view. And this is for anybody else who might not know. You'll automatically be assigned a role that will give you access to a chat channel for these streams. So we're hit and miss on whether we actually use the chat channel for the streams. I don't really care, but it's there to not cloud up the other chat channel. So if you link Discord to YouTube, it will auto assign the role. If you want notifications for this stream, then you need to go to the notifications, get notified channel and react to the notifications you want. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's Greg. Greg joined the Greg joined the Discord. I think my brain is saying that it's food time and we'll just have to continue this next stream. So with that, thank you everyone. Appreciate you being members, and feel free to comment to this when it's done on what you suggest the next build series to be, or the build thing. It doesn't have to be a series. So no, there's an extra stream chat, Spectra. If you link your account, you'll see it. So you don't have to. It's not a big deal. Wherever you posted it is fine. So, build a high five. Tomorrow, LH Stinger. But that would have to be a main channel thing, Killer Prince. We're looking for off the beaten path content. Stuff that wouldn't be is interesting, but wouldn't be as fit for the Sunday streams. HI5 is a cantilevered cross gantry. Well, that's interesting. HI5 isn't released. Oh. Check the Micron GitHub. The new R1Z drive parts are the same as the G2Z. Confusion comes from nomenclature. More on this tomorrow. Cool. See you tomorrow. Micron build continues. Till next time. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the build. Bye.